of all, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak, and thank you so much, Anna, as well. You're really the backbone of the Peace Museum here in Vienna, and it's been really a pleasure to hear all the inspiring speakers before me. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Riyan. I am a master's student here at Central European University in Vienna. So I'm pursuing international relations, and my specialization exactly deals with issues of peace, conflict, and security. And previously I did my bachelor's in Christ University back home in India, in Bangalore. So it's wonderful to be here. And so I work for the Peace Museum Vienna currently, and it's an organization which seeks to fulfill its purpose of serving as a dynamic and transformative hub dedicated to fostering a deeper understanding of peace, promoting inclusivity, trust, and reconciliation in society, and inspiring positive change in individuals and communities through various peace education programs. We have exhibitions, inspirational meetings, open dialogue, storytelling initiatives, and so on and so forth. So to start the address for today and to basically introduce the theme of what I'm going to be speaking about, I just want to cite a feminist author from the International Relations Scholarship, Cynthia Enloe, who in her work, Bananas, Beaches and Bases, asked a very pertinent question in the realm of international relations, that is, where are the women? So as to say, why are the contributions being undermined and overlooked in various aspects of IR, be it national security, foreign policy making, or peace, which is the focal point of discussion today. And the historical established connection between women and peace movements is something that I'm going to be delving into in my address today. So it's no rocket science, of course, that there has been a long established connection between women and peace movements. So a lot of us may already know about the Women's Strike for Peace in 1961, which was started by estimated 50,000 women in 60 cities across the United States, all pressing for nuclear disarmament. And this movement was primarily led by mothers who feared the effects of nuclear war on their children and future generations. And it had a very compelling slogan that end the arms race, not the human race. And often overlooked or rather unknown movement to a lot of people would also be the Chipko movement, which took place in the 1970s in India, where rural women basically hugged the tree trunks to prevent the trees from being felled by private contractors, protecting those trees from deforestation. This movement took place in the Himalayan region in India, and it showed the sort of understanding that rural women that time had in India in the 1970s, that how ideas of environmental sustainability are important for long-term peace, sustainability and prosperity of their region and communities. And then, of course, in the past, a lot of women-initiated and women-led peace organizations have also been established, including the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom in 1915, Women in Black in 1988, and Women in International Security in 1987. However, it took the world quite some time to realize that on one hand, while women were fighting for peace, at the same time, they were the ones who were facing the brunt or the consequences of wars perpetuated by the patriarchal system. And it is only in the year 2000 that the United Nations Security Council, through a resolution 1325, emphasized the disproportionate impact of wars on women and girls and called for an increased representation of women in peacekeeping. And for those who would often go back and say that we don't believe in mere normative values, we need the numbers. So statistically as well, as per data from the UN Women, women's participation in peacekeeping forces, it increases the possibility of peace agreements lasting for at least 2 years by 20%, and peace agreements lasting for at least 15 years by 35%. The Council of Foreign Relations also says that in countries which have higher levels of gender equality, they are more likely to resolve their conflicts peacefully rather than countries with lesser levels of gender equality for that matter. And in today's address, I would just like to basically amplify one women peace activist from here in Austria itself, who is very central to the work of the Peace Museum Vienna, who was also the inspiration for the founding of our museum on June 21, 2014, and she's none other than Bertha von Suttner, who was the first woman to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1905. But very few people know that what is more interesting is that she was also the one who inspired Swedish scientist Alfred Nobel to create a peace prize, a Nobel Prize for peace in the first place, for that matter. Bertha was very well known for her 1889 novel, Lay Down Your Arms, which rejected glorified and heroic narratives of war, common at that time, and instead she chose to focus on the personal cost of war, that is, families destroyed, prosperity severed, and relationships broken, all by wars. And this was one of the most influential anti-war texts of the 19th century. Bertha, she was also one of the earliest thinkers to connect feminism and peace, because she believed that women's emancipation was tied to global peace and that keeping women out of social and political decisions perpetuated violence and inequality. And for Bertha, the whole definition of peace was not just the absence of war, but the presence of justice, equality, and human dignity. Today, in the age of social media, particularly, it's really important for the youth to understand this, that we live in the digital age where there is rising cases of online hate and misogyny against women. There is rising fake news, spread of fake news and misinformation when wars break out between two countries, for that matter. And as much as this social media is responsible for creating this sort of chaos and divisiveness in the minds of the people, and particularly the youth, it is important to follow Bertha's legacy and so as to reclaim these social media spaces and spread the ideas of peace, equality, justice, and human dignity through these social media spaces. After all, the fourth wave of feminism, it was basically started off because of social media being a catalyst for that matter. Here, now just to conclude, I would just like to say that let us continue to amplify the role played by Bertha and many other women in peacekeeping efforts. Let them and their history not be just buried in the long lost pages, and let's bring them to the center of our conversation. And let the names of Bertha and many other women like her who have contributed to peace not feature like the end credits of a movie or footnotes of an academic article, but like central protagonists of our shared peace and shared future. So let us honor Bertha's memory of building a more peaceful, equitable, and just society. And to end the address, in the words of Bertha herself, after the verb to love, to help is the most beautiful verb in the world. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for this valuable